A gym with room for maybe 300 people at once will happily sell 6,000 memberships. It isn't a mistake, it's the entire plan. Here's the uncomfortable secret at the center of the fitness industry. The gym is one of the only businesses on earth that quietly needs its product to fail you. It sells you fitness, and it profits most from the version of you that never shows up. If every member it signed actually came, the whole model would collapse by Tuesday evening. That sounds like an accusation. It isn't. It's arithmetic, and once you see it, you can never unsee the way a gym is really built. So let's do what the free trial and the smiling salesperson never will. Let's open the ledger on owning a gym, every dollar in and every dollar out, and find the strange machine underneath the mirrors and the motivational posters. Start with the dream, because it's one almost everyone has had. You love training. You know this world. You think, I could run a better gym than this. Good equipment, fair prices, a real community. How hard can it be? And then you meet the first number before you've signed a single member, because a gym is brutally expensive to simply build. To open a proper mid-sized gym, the all-in cost of getting to opening day runs, realistically, between $100,000 and $500,000, and for a large full-service facility, far more. Let's build a sensible one, call it $300,000, and watch where it goes, because two lines eat most of it before you sell anything. First, the space. A gym needs a lot of square footage in a location people can actually reach, and rent in a good spot runs $5,000 to $15,000 a month, sometimes far more. But it's not just the rent, it's the build-out. Turning a bare commercial shell into a gym means flooring that can survive dropped weights, mirrors, ventilation, plumbing for showers and changing rooms, electrical for rows of machines. For most gyms, the lease and the build-out together swallow 60 to 70% of the entire startup budget. Then the equipment. And these aren't the machines you have at home. Commercial cardio machines run $2,000 to $5,000 each. A full set of strength equipment, racks, free weights and benches is tens of thousands more. Kitting out a mid-sized gym runs $30,000 to $100,000. And here's the quiet trap inside it. That equipment wears out and goes out of date on a schedule. Cardio machines need replacing every 5 to 7 years. The gym you build today is already depreciating, already aging from the day you switch the lights on. So you've spent your $300,000. And here's the sentence that governs everything that follows. An empty gym earns nothing. You now have a room full of expensive steel, a rent bill, and a single desperate need: members. Which brings us to the strangest income model in business, and the secret we started with. Let's open the income side of the ledger. To understand it, you have to understand the one number that breaks the whole thing open: capacity. A gym floor can only physically hold so many people at once before it becomes unusable, before every machine has a queue and every member quits in frustration. For a typical gym, that's a few hundred people at peak. So logic says sell memberships up to something near that number and no more. That is not remotely what happens. The industry sells dramatically beyond its physical capacity, some operators overselling their real usable space many times over. A budget gym with room for a few hundred at once will hold thousands upon thousands of members on its books, and it works flawlessly because of one statistic the entire business is quietly built on. Up to 2/3 of gym memberships go completely unused. Somewhere around 60 to 67% of members, on average, barely attend or never come at all. Sit with that, because it's the whole game. The gym isn't selling you access to a building, it's selling you the intention to use a building, and it has priced that intention knowing most people will never collect on it. The member who signs up in January, full of resolve, comes 4 times, drifts away by March, and keeps paying the monthly fee until the following winter out of guilt and inertia. That member isn't a failure of the business. That member is the business. So put it on the ledger and understand it clearly. The gym's profit doesn't come from the people sweating on the floor. It comes from the people who pay and never walk through the door. There's a business this exactly resembles, and it's a revealing one: insurance. An insurer sells thousands of policies knowing only a fraction will ever be claimed, and it profits from the gap between what everyone pays in and what few take out. A gym runs the same machine in reverse. It sells thousands of memberships, knowing only a fraction will ever be truly claimed in sweat, and it lives in the gap between the many who pay and the few who show. That's why the whole industry is built around one moment moment in the calendar. January, the resolution rush, the flood of hopeful new signups, most of whom the operator knows from cold experience will have quietly stopped coming by March, while the payments roll on until winter. This is why the model works. If those 6,000 members all decided to come regularly, the gym would be a nightmare, packed and impossible, and everyone would quit. The empty treadmill isn't wasted space. It's the product working exactly as designed. In the coldest financial terms, the gym is the near-perfect inverse of a normal business. It sells a thing and quietly hopes you don't consume it. Some operators have even built the whole building around this. 24-hour opening isn't only a convenience, it's a way to spread the same crowd across more hours, so the gym can put even more paying, non-attending members on the books without the floor ever feeling full. Now, this makes it sound like easy money. It is not. The same model has a second edge, and it's the one that quietly kills gyms. If your profit depends on members who pay without attending, then your profit depends entirely on those members not canceling, and that's where the whole thing gets fragile. Let's turn to the cost of keeping this machine alive, because it never stops running. The single most relentless force in the gym business is churn, members leaving. Across the industry, gyms lose roughly 30 to 50% of their members every single year. Think about that. A gym with 1,000 members can lose 300 to 500 of them in 12 months and has to find that many new ones just to stand still. And replacing them isn't free. It costs, on average, $50 to $100 in marketing and promotions to acquire each new member. So a gym bleeding 400 members a year is spending $20,000 to $40,000 annually just to refill a leaking bucket before a cent of that becomes profit. The gym is running up a down escalator every month forever. Then, the fixed costs, the ones that arrive whether the gym is packed or empty. Rent again, the largest recurring cost, and one that should stay under about 15% of revenue, or the whole model strains. Staff, the front desk, and cleaners, and trainers and managers, which eats 30 to 44% of revenue. Utilities, because a gym is an energy monster. Rows of machines, lighting a huge space, heating water for showers all day, running to $3,000 to $10,000 a month. Insurance, for a business where people lift heavy objects and occasionally get hurt. Equipment repair, and the looming replacement cycle. Cleaning, music licensing, software, security. Add it all up, and the average gym, after everything, keeps a net profit margin of only around 10 to 15%. A gym grossing $300,000 a year might leave its owner $30,000 to $45,000 for owning the whole business, carrying all the risk, and often working the front desk themselves. And it takes a long time to even get there. A typical gym needs somewhere between 150 and 250 active paying members just to break even, just to cover the lease and the lights, and takes anywhere from 9 months to 3 years to reach that point, during which the owner is feeding the lease out of the reserve every single month. And there it is, the shape of the whole thing. So let's close it. $300,000 to build, a room that only works if most members never use it. A third of your members vanishing every year. $30,000 to $40,000 a year spent just replacing them, and a 10 to 15% margin at the end if you make it there at all, which around half of gyms don't. Closing within 5 years, most often because they were undercapitalized or picked a location their membership could never carry. Now the fair side, because for all of that, great gyms exist, and some owners build something genuinely valuable and profitable. So what does it actually take, and what does the money really buy? Here's the honest truth hiding under the cynical model. The gyms that thrive are the ones that break the very logic we just described. They win by getting members to actually show up, because a member who comes, sees results, and builds the gym into their life is a member who doesn't churn. And low churn is the single most powerful force in gym economics. The whole industry's dirty secret is that it profits from absence, but the best businesses in it profit from presence, from community, from being the rare gym people don't quit. They turn the fragile model into a durable one. And that's the real dividing line. The same one every time on this channel. A gym bought by someone who loves training and never learns the numbers, the churn, and the capacity math, and the break-even count is the one the failure statistics describe. A gym run by someone who respects both the barbell and the ledger, who builds a community strong enough that people keep coming back, can be a genuinely good business and a genuine force for good in people's lives. The passion alone is what the model preys on. The passion married to the arithmetic is what survives. So let's close the ledger for real. A business that sells a product it hopes you won't use. That oversells its space many times over, on purpose. That profits from your absence but dies from your cancellation. That runs up a down escalator of churn forever, and rewards, in the end, only the rare owner who can make people stay. Which leaves the real question, and I want your answer. If the gym industry, as it's built today, quietly profits most when its members fail to get fit, is that a cynical trap dressed up in motivational posters, a business designed around your good intentions never being kept? Or is it simply an honest trade, cheap access freely offered, and it's not the gym's fault if you don't use what you chose to buy? Tell me where you land in the comments. And ask yourself the harder version. The last time you paid for a membership you didn't use, were you the customer or were you the product?